Can we talk about your first time?
My first time? Yeah, in reference to what exactly?
The first role you were ever offered?
This thing called Guinevere Jones was a kids' TV series, and I played King Arthur, and it was basic. I didn't have any lines. I remember being pretty nervous about it, actually.
Who was the first person to ever encourage you as an actor?
I think my older brother. He had done an acting course and suggested I do it, and he was sort of the first, I guess, inspiration, and always said, yeah, go do it, it's fun, you love it, and that's how it that's how I got into it.
Do you remember the first actor who inspired you, someone you saw on screen?
I remember watching Brad Pitt a lot as a kid and just loving his sort of charisma and everything he was doing, the type of films he was making. And prior to even knowing I wanted to be an actor, it was things like Never Ending Story and Princess Bride and those kind of films that I just loved.
Do you remember the first time you thought about moving over here?
Yeah, it was when I was finishing school and talking to, you know, the careers advisor at school about, okay, well, what university are you going to sign up for? What are you going to do? And I was like, oh, I'm going to be an actor. And she's like, well, okay, but what's your backup? And I didn't really have one. There was nothing else I really wanted to do. And so, you know, I put my head down and went for it.
What's the first fairy tale you remember loving as a child?
My dad read to me and had very vivid memories of it. It was The Hobbit.
And the first time they called action on The Huntsman?
The first day is always a little sort of intimidating. You haven't worked with this person before, and actually it was with Jessica Chastain, who was, you know, incredibly talented and intimidating for all the, the respectful, right reasons. You know, it was like just not wanting to drop the ball. That's how I always feel.
Do you know when the first time you felt successful was? Do you ever feel like, yes, I've made it?
No, I think it's an ongoing, you know, challenge. There's things you feel proud of, and then there's films where you feel like, oh, I could have done that better, you know, or I wish I'd done this or tried that.
And do you remember the first time you were recognised in public?
After Star Trek, I got recognised as Chris Pine. Then I was like, it's not. And they're like, no, you're Chris Pine, you're in Star Trek. I'm like, I was in it, but I'm not that character. Or often it's, are you Liam? I'm like, no. Oh, say hi to him for me. Okay.